Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Flip Flop Family podcast. I'm Xylene, and for the first time we have Benjamin.
I am very happy to be here.
Every Monday, if you don't already know, we released a podcast with myself and one of the members of the Flip Flop family, and this is the first time that Ben is featuring. And then on a Thursday, you just get me. So this week, on a Monday, we like to talk about things that go on in our life. We hope that you can relate to it, things that you might be talking about. Perhaps it might encourage you to have these kind of conversations, or maybe it's just a little bit of food for thought, I would say. And this week, the conversations in the house has been about fitness because of my injury. So I have a bit of a fragile knee. So those of you who do know us, we embarked on a home renovation, which we're still renovating. Started about 2 years ago, and I fell through the floorboards and busted my knee. So it's a bit fragile, and I heard it click again at the gym. And Ben is a huge advocate for vitality, health, fitness. Just you're really good in the sense that you put that first, and I think you invest a lot of time into feeling good.
Yeah, sure.
And I busted my knee, and so Ben was telling me, babe, you've got to do these mobility exercises. And I think that's quite a new thing that I feel you've been talking about recently. You weren't talking about mobility before.
No, I wasn't.
It was just fitness.
It's just like I randomly came across a really good Instagram page by a girl called Vanja Moves, and she was doing these wicked moves, and I was like, I really want to learn those moves. And they like kind of focus more on your knees and your hips, which I think as you get older, you tend to lose a lot. So people, when you age, you lose your eyes, you lose your hips, and you lose your knees. So obviously eyes, you can't really do much about that apart from wearing some glasses or some contacts, but you can do mobility training now to try to prevent them from going bad in the future. So we're trying to foolproof that now, right? So so I would check her out. She's got some great moves, some great content and stuff that I've been doing for about a month now, and I feel a lot better. I feel so much more flexible. I can stretch a lot, further.
It's really good. I actually, because you kept telling me about opening up my hips, I thought, well, let me have a look at it. And it was really funny because when I watched one of her reels, she said something about, if you have an injury or it's like your free pass to not exercise and stop making excuses, stop blaming genetics. And funnily enough, I always blame genetics for having tight hips. Like me, my sister, I think my brother, my mum, when we sit down cross-legged on the floor, like my right knee is higher. And I always say it to you, don't you? I'm like, babe, but we have tight hips. And it's like, you can retrain. So she's telling you can retrain so that you have this range of motion that a lot of us don't have anymore.
Yeah. Well, as you do get older, like when I hit 40 years old, I could feel a shift. I could feel that it took me longer to recover after playing football, after the gym. I felt like my body was a lot more tighter. So as you get into your 40s, it's very important that you still try to stretch. You still try to open up your hips a lot more. And I would really recommend mobility training. It's such a great way to do all those things.
I totally agree with you. And recently I found when I've got out of bed, like in the morning, I feel like, my lower back is, we've got a really good mattress. I don't think it's the bed, but I find myself, and maybe it's because where we've had sort of 2 years of quite intense work on the house, where we've been climbing on top of the outhouse and climbing in the floor and screwing and drilling and like getting yourself into like awkward places. I haven't done that recently. It's been more like nice stuff, like, painting and making stuff.
Easy work,
And I found definitely that I just don't feel as nimble. My word of the week.
It's a good word.
Nimble.
It's a good word. Nimble.
I don't feel as nimble as I used to, and if I'm feeling a little bit stiff at 40, the future's not looking very good for me right now.
Well, that's it. I mean, the thing is that I do like a lot of weights in the gym, but I feel like your body's not designed just to lift things up and down. Like real life isn't about just lifting things up and down or like side to side. You have to bend over and pick things up. You need to get on a ladder and get something from like a shelf, high up. You need to be doing other things as well. So I feel like I have a bit of a balance. And so I do weights, I do cardio, and I do mobility training. And mobility training is just fantastic. And I feel like it's really benefited me. I mean, I've only been doing it about a month or so now, but I can feel a big difference now in my body. And I feel like if I could give anyone any advice right now, as you age, try mobility training, because it really opens up your hips.
It's interesting, isn't it, how there's been a bit of a shift as we've kind of entered this next stage of our lives, where before it was more about like, you know, you were like, oh yeah,
You want to look good and have a
yeah.
six
I mean,
pack.
you've got some. I mean, I'm kind of getting them too, but you've got some good abs and some good buys, sorry, and tries and your traps, looking good. But you were, you know, you were more about that.
Yeah,
Whereas now I
that's
feel
right,
like you're more about how you feel on the inside.
Yeah, that's
as opposed
right.
to how you look on the outside.
I think for a lot of guys, it was really about having those biceps bursting out of your t-shirt and having that six pack. And I never quite got that six pack, but I'm kind of over that stage right now. It's really all about how I feel as opposed to how I look.
Yes.
And yeah, so but you know, it's all about a balance too as well, right?
It
So
is.
you want to try and do a bit of weights, a bit of cardio, and a bit of mobility training.
That's right. And in order to feel good on the inside, you not just only have to do these things, you have to also feed your temple good things.
100%,
And you, I would say, are quite an all-rounder when it comes to health and well-being. And you're not just about the exercise. You're quite good about what you put in your body too. And you're always taking something or another. Just recently, like drinking, and I'm calling her this chick because it's a girl's name. I'm like, what are you drinking every day, babe? Who are you?
It's not even a girl's name. It's called Sheila Jit.
Sheila Jeep.
So it's this like supplement that I take now. I found it online. It's a really good one actually. It's so they source it from the Himalayan mountains. And if I could explain what it looks like or how it is, it's like a plastic, like a black plasticine type of like residue.
No. Do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of Emiliana and Zach's first poo. Sorry, Minnie and Zach. And it's not just theirs. Every baby, if you don't have a baby, you can't leave hospital until your baby does a poo. And their first poo is called meconium, and it's this black tar. And whenever I see you taking Sheila Jit out of the little pot, it reminds me of that meconium, that kind of marmitey, sticky kind of.
Yeah, but no thanks for that, because now taking it is never going to be the same again. I'm always going to think about Emiliana and Zach's poos as I put it into my cup.
Very nutritious.
Yeah, I look forward to doing that 5 in the morning every day. Great, thanks.
So what health benefits does Sheila Jit have for you, would you say?
So I think the initial thing is that it will give you a bit of a boost in the morning. It will give you some energy, and it's all like natural. So instead of having like a pre-workout which is packed with like sugars, or a coffee first thing in the morning, which I don't think is probably the best thing anyway. Sheila Jit is naturally sourced. It's got a bit of a funny taste to it, but you get used to it. It's got quite an earthy type of taste to it. But then surely that's really a good thing, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's like from the earth.
True. So it gives you energy, makes you feel a bit revitalized.
Energy gives you a boost. It's good for your skin. And it's good for your gut as well.
Gut health,
a few benefits.
big thing.
There's like probably a lot more benefits, but I don't know them.
But you're feeling it. You're feeling good off
100% I am.
And what about there used to be a subscription, or there used to be this thing that appears at the door, this massive box, Athletic Greens. We've got like a bottle of it, and
so So I used to take Athletic Greens, which again is it's a very good supplement to take, but it can get a bit expensive. So essentially, what that is, that's like a bunch of greens are mixed up together in a powder form, and then you mix it up with some water every day before you have your workout, or even like after your workout. But it can get a bit expensive. So essentially, if you've got time and you've got a juicer, you can just mix it yourself. So just get some spinach, get some kale, get some green apple, and give it a good blend. And essentially, you've got enough there to give you a bit of a boost.
You've made some of those kind of like super juices, haven't you, on your Instagram page at Benjamin Flip-Flop. He's been making them, and I know you make them all the time, but you haven't had time to share them all. But they are amazing. Ben used to make them into these little kind of like vials, like little kind of test tubes, little shots, and they were such a great way. And Zach he's so good. He really loves to follow in your footsteps, doesn't he? And he would in the morning come down and so excited, and he would shot that, and it was so good. Like the ginger would be like, zing, make you feel really good. But you're teaching that to the children.
I just feel like as a parent, there's no greater teacher than your parent. So if you want your kids to be healthy and to eat healthy and to exercise, there's no better way to teach them than you actually leading by example. So I feel it's important that we do these things, and it can be time consuming, but you've got to think about them and their future.
Yes.
And you want them to have that that healthy lifestyle. to eat really well. So you have to lead by example.
And you want them to think of that, don't you? Like you want it to almost be intrinsic in their life.
Yeah,
Similar
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
I would say our faith is intrinsic in our life. You want that healthy lifestyle. Obviously, you go to the gym every day and they
Yeah.
see that. They know Ben's only going to be in two places if they can't find him: the gym or the toilet.
Why are
Sorry.
you exposing me for
Well,
that?
it's true.
That's rude.
This podcast is not about being fake. It's about being completely real. And that is where you normally are hiding. You're either hiding in the gym or you're hiding in the toilet. And then I go to the gym at least 3 times a week. I don't do as much as Ben does. I probably do 2 swims and then I do a cardio, like a gym session. And I'm definitely going to be including Vanja moves. It's at Vanja with a J, .moves into my routine, because I think I definitely need to do that to feel better, to feel good. I think it's really important. And we also take the kids for a walk most nights after dinner, because again, it's about sort of glucose spikes and stuff. It's not good for you to eat and just sit. So we trying to get them up and get them out as much as we can.
Exactly.
Come rain or shine, Ben's out. I'm a bit like, babe, it's raining, but you like the rain.
There's like something quite endearing about walking or running in the rain that I just love. I just love to do. I don't get why other people don't like it, because I picked up Zach from school about a week ago, and it wasn't even like raining that hard.
Yeah.
But parents have got umbrellas out and they're like wincing in the rain, like, oh, there's rain on my face. But for me, like, I love that. It's, nature, it's water, and like it makes you feel nice.
Yeah.
So I'm all for like, walking.
It also
and running
soaks
in
you
the
through
rain.
to your pants.
Well, you need to make sure that you've got a waterproof, coat on, and if you've got that, then you're fine to go.
It's true. And there you go, another good thing. So you're walking, because I feel like the kind of human race, we start off really agile and we seem to be ending really fragile. So by trying to implement these things, these mobility exercises, being healthy, like we said, really building it into just everyday life. We even tried to make healthy snacks, don't we, for the kids after school. I've got some dates. I'm going to make some date balls. Check out at the Flip Flop Family Kitchen this week. I'm going to make them. I made the flapjacks, which you really enjoyed.
Love them. Very nice. Very good.
And last night we had games night, and Ben was a little bit distracted because he's got this new watch, and we both, well, I'm sure most people, we have smartwatches, but he was testing his
my resting heart rate.
Your resting heart rate, and yours was really good.
Well, mine's on 55 at the moment, which is like super athletic level. So I'm very, very happy with that.
Is that you or is that me? Because I just make you feel so relaxed. You're just like chilling next to me.
Probably the former, if I'm going to be honest. But
mine's 92, babe.
So we need to look into that. So your resting heart rate when you're around 40 years old should be between 60 and 100. So the lower it is, the better it is for you. Okay. So I'm in 55, which is a very good place to be. But you wanna monitor these things, because it's important to make sure that you're looking at your levels, whether it's your blood pressure levels, your resting heart rate levels, your glucose levels. Just make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye on these things, because it's very important.
I think it is, because we both talk about this all the time, that we hear of so many more people like in their like 20s, 30s, 40s having heart attacks, and I don't know whether it's just because there's so much more awareness, and obviously with social media and TV it's maybe documented a lot more, so you hear about it a lot more, but I don't remember this stuff. No, I don't remember my parents having their mates go through this when we were younger. But there's
like definitely been a spike over the past couple of years, I feel.
So that's why this podcast was really important, because we wanted to open up those conversations about vitality, health, well-being. You spend a lot of time on the treadmill, and so you watch stuff, don't you? What are you watching at the moment?
What am I watching? That's a good question. So I tend to like only really watch stuff that's going to benefit me, because I spend quite a lot of time running and sprinting, walking incline and stuff like that. So I tend to watch stuff that's going to benefit me, like a podcast. So obviously A Diary of a CEO is really good with Steve Bartlett.
My bonus episode on a Thursday.
Definitely watch your material is my like all-time favorite, of course. But if I feel like I want a bit of a cheat like watch, then I'll watch stuff like Unsolved Mysteries or something like that, on Netflix. Which
that does not sound like a cheat at all.
Cheat, but I just find it
Trash is like, to me, is like Selling Sunset or like
reality.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
I don't
we don't really watch much reality, do we? No, thankfully, we're not really into it. But we tried to again encourage the children. We tried to sit at the table to have our meals. But recently, they've been a bit bit cheeky because we have another room, a snug, which has a TV in it. They're like, "Oh, mummy, I think you and daddy should go and finish whatever you're watching and have your dinner there." And so we have been having a few meals. We don't even have a sofa in our front room yet, so we sit on beanbags and we eat our dinner. And we finished Silo season 2. What was that about?
That was not good. Yeah, I was quite surprised and so disappointed at how it ended.
Yeah,
I felt like at the end of season 1, I was all hyped up, like I can't wait for season 2, and then I had to wait a whole year, and then season 2 comes along, and then like the end of it is just rubbish, and I'm like, what was that ending? It was rubbish. Terrible.
And now we have to wait at least 10 months for season 3.
Yeah.
But what we did watch that was good, I've forgotten the name of it. It was a Swedish 4-part thing.
That was called The Breakthrough.
The Breakthrough.
Yeah.
So if you need something to watch, check that out on Netflix. It's a bit sad because it's based on a true story, but I kind of prefer to watch things that have a bit of a true element to it.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's good.
Exactly.
And what tune are you listening to? I love your musical tastes. So what is it that you're listening to?
So I listen to a bunch of different things. At the moment, I'm listening to Johnny Nash, which is an old school R&B singer, and also listening to Ray, which
Do I know any of those songs? Johnny Nash.
So Johnny Nash would be like, baby, every night I hear you. No, I wake up crying, tears on my pillow.
Okay, yeah.
That's a sick tune.
Lovely voice.
So Johnny Nash, well, I do try. Johnny Nash, and then Ray, which is Raye, which is a really good singer from South London. She's like a mix between, I'd say, like Amy Winehouse and Stefflon Don.
Love Amy.
Yeah.
Love Amy.
And the song's called Escapism. Wicked tune.
Okay,
Love
so
it.
Ray, Escapism,
and Johnny Nash.
Those are your tracks of the week. And watch The Breakthrough on Netflix if you need something to watch. Or just don't. Just check out, what's her name again? Venga Moves? What's her name?
Vanja Moves.
Or just check out Vanja Moves and do some exercises instead.
Yeah.
So if there are people listening and they just want kind of a takeaway, like top 3 things they could do to try and make their lifestyle a bit healthier, what 3 takeaways would you give them?
3 takeaways. Good question. Okay, so I would definitely say I'd start by watching your water intake. Monitor how much you're having. You want to have at least between 2 to 3 liters of water a day. Again, water is the best thing ever. It will give you energy, it will clear your skin, and it will detox your body, which is great. I would walk as much as you can. Try to walk a bit. We try to walk as much as we can. I try and get in about 20,000 steps a day if I can. If you can do 7 or 10,000 steps, great. Really good. Third tip, I'd say, don't eat your food too late at night time. Try to eat earlier. If you go to bed by 10 o'clock, try to eat at least 3 hours beforehand, so around 7 o'clock. And then it gives your body time to digest your food and break it all down, and you'll feel better. Yeah.
That's a great 3 things. And with regards to eating early, if you can have dinner done early, you've got the rest of the evening. I try and give the kids dinner at 5 and they're like, Mum, this is way too early. And then at 7 they're like, we're hungry, but it's so good just to give them dinner, clear up, everything's done.
Get it out of the way.
That's
Get it done.
And then when they're hungry, it's just drink some water. You're not hungry, you're
thirsty.
That's Ben's ongoing line. Whenever the kids say we're hungry, they're like, you're not hungry, you're just thirsty. How much water have you drunk today? We're all culprits of it. We don't drink enough water.
That's right.
But I probably felt at my healthiest when we traveled. We traveled for a year around the world, and I think I looked my best and I felt my best because we were walking at least 15,000 steps a day. We ate kind of little and often.
Yeah.
And we drank loads of water. So those are 3 really great tips. If you can just incorporate those into your life, I think you'll be feeling a lot better.
Also, I felt like when we traveled, we didn't have lots of processed foods. No. I felt like the food we ate was very much street food, so very much noodles and chicken and rice and chicken
off
and
the grill,
proteins, very high protein stuff. So it was good, and it was healthy. So.
It was. Well, thanks so much, Benjamin. I have thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you today, even though I speak to you every day. It's never enough.
Call me back anytime you like.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Flip Flop Family Podcast. Whether you've been watching or whether you have been listening, you can check us out on YouTube and also all the streaming podcasting platforms. You can check us out there every Monday and every Thursday. But for now, signing out.
This one's for couples, 14 questions. Who apologizes the first after a fight? Who's the funny one? Who's more romantic? Who's more patient? Who's the better cook? Who said I love you first? Who takes longer to get ready in the morning? Who's the grumpier one in the morning? Who's more stubborn? Who's the bigger baby when sick? Who's the social butterfly? Who's the messy one? Who works out more? Who requires more attention?
See ya!
Bye.